Hello students, again I am here with Gauss's theorem. Last class I explained you the problem solving techniques. What are the steps you need to take to solve the numerical problem? I had did one complete numerical problem with you. So it's my advice, go through all the sums, try. If you're not able to do it, please you give me your questions. I will try to help you with that. But still you give a try to it. Okay, now today's we are starting up with the Gauss's theorem. Now Gauss's theorem becomes very important. Why the need of Gauss's theorem was there? First of all, we need to know that. If you remember the Coulombic force, when we were doing it up, we had the condition that it was meant for the point charges. For the extended body, suppose if I take this sort of body, I cannot find out the electric field for this body. F is equals to QE. Right, so if we want to find out the electric field, generally more than the force we are bothered about finding out the electric field. हम लोग को electric field ज़्यादा चाहिए होता है. So in this case, what we really need to know, if we want to know the electric field of any sort of body, let us assume a plane body, or let us suppose we have got a spherical body, a continuous charge body. So in this case, it becomes very difficult to do with the Coulomb force. Get the Coulomb force divided by charge and get the electric field. So things doesn't work. Okay. So in order to solve these things, we have the Gauss's. We are having Gauss's theorem. Now Gauss's theorem. Let us just. I'll just explain the theorem first, and then I'll just come back what we need to know about it. According to Gauss's theorem, for any closed surface, it said that the word is important here. For any closed surface. For any closed surface, the flux, I said the flux, the electric flux, we are talking about the electric flux because we have got the magnetic flux also. Flux is equals to 1 by epsilon 0 times the total charge. Q is the sum of all the charges, So if you get to see, if Gauss's theorem said that for a closed surface, the total flux is equals to 1 by epsilon 0 times the total charge. Now in this case, we need to know certain terms. We need to understand. What are the things that we need to understand? We need to understand the area vector, because the area vector is important. Why area vector is important? We are talking about flux. And flux phi is equals to closed integral of E vector dot ds. Sometimes you write ds or you write dA vector. This is your area vector, isn't it? And this is what? Electric field intensity. So indirectly, we can also write that closed integral of E vector dot ds vector is equals to q by epsilon naught. We can write epsilon naught. You all know permittivity of the free space. So we need to know the area vector. Now what exactly is area vector? So long in mensuration you must have calculated the area of a spherical surface. You have calculated the area of a cuboidal surface. You must have done with many of the figure, and you must have derived certain areas, the regular bodies I'm talking about. So now in physics, apart from the magnitude, we have got the direction also of the area. Let us take for example this book, right? This is your physics book. Okay, so we have got all different sides. See how the area vector will work. The top surface, if I say length, breadth you calculate, but the area vector is perpendicular, so to all the surface. I'm talking about the top surface only. So area vector is just perpendicular and it is acting in the upward direction, outward direction. Rather I should say outward direction. So all this direction, this cap gives the direction of the area vector. So here it is like this. If I take this figure called this face, so this is the area you get, length into breadth, but area vector will be like this. For this surface, the area vector is like this. For this, it is like this. For the one which is facing towards me, it's towards me, and the downward, it is downward. So what exactly you understand? The area vector is not same in all direction. The area vector is different in all direction. So we have got ds vector. ds vector is equals to modulus of ds vector, that is giving you the magnitude. And then you have got n caret. N caret is giving you what? The direction. So what is important? We have the area vector. Means area vector you can represent in this form. Now next, what is flux? Okay, now flux is one of the physical terms which helps in you in finding out the number of electric lines of forces passing through a surface which is kept normal to it. And you can very well get its unit also. Okay, and since we have got flux is the dot product of the electric field and the area. In a very confined way, we write phi as equals to E vector dot A vector, right? So this is EA cos theta. More precisely, we write EA cos theta. Now, if the electric field intensity and the area vector are in the same direction, means they are all both are in the same direction. So the angle between the two is 0 degree and cos 0 degree is 1. So you get a positive flux. But what will happen if the area vector is this direction and the electric field is in this direction? You get an angle of 180 degree. It may happen. The electric flux is, the area vector E vector is here and A vector is this direction. So you get an angle of 180 degree. So here the flux is cos 180 degrees minus 1. Flux becomes negative. And what happens if they are perpendicular to each other? Very easy to understand. Cos 90 degree is 0. So we get no flux out there. So this flux is a very important term when you must have done in class 10 the alternating current. So the different configuration when it was moving. So it was giving you, it was all related there. Flux. Okay, because electromagnetic induction, flux is again a very important things you need to know. So here, when we talk of the Gauss's theorem, what becomes very important? The proof is not that important. I'm not going to do with the proof. There are certain books which has introduced a concept of the solid angle also. Now, what is solid angle? Solid angle is mainly meant for the three-dimensional figure like a sphere. And if you take a part of it, you just take out a pull of it. Watermelon, you might have said. Generally, suppose if you want to see whether it is red inside, you take a part and cut it. So what angle it subtends at the center, that is your solid angle. And the complete value of the solid angle is dW is equals to closed integral of dA by r square. And you get omega is equals to omega, we denote it as the solid angle. So that is 4 pi steradian. That is the complete value. But here we don't need that. So we are not bothered about the solid angle, but you should understand what is. So Gauss's theorem, what becomes very important? What are the important things that we need to understand for the Gauss's theorem? First of all, that it is for the closed surface. Suppose if I take a charge and keep it free, we cannot. We take a point charge. Suppose if I take a point charge and I keep it free. Free in a sense like as a chord there, Q. It needs a house, closed surface. So it is in the form of a sphere. This is what we call the Gaussian surface. This is what we call the Gaussian surface. And one thing very important for the Gaussian surface, suppose you want to find out the electric field at here, taking this as the radius, you draw a sphere. Suppose if you want to find out the electric field here, taking this as the radius, you draw a sphere. So where you need to find out the electric field, from there till the center where the point charge has been located, you take this as the radius and draw a sphere. That becomes the Gaussian surface. So it is being enclosed. There are some questions given that you take a charge and keep it, this is a square base, and you have kept it at a certain distance from the square base. So what sort of Gaussian surface you need to give? Obviously, you have to give it in the form of a cube. Okay, you have to give it in the form of the cube. And what will be? You have the charge as Q only. And suppose if the question, my question is, there is a square base and you have taken a charge at certain distance from the square base, and you need to find out the Gaussian, you need to find out the flux for one of the face. First, you need to construct a cube. For all the 6 sides, you have the flux as equals to Q by epsilon naught, right? So for one face, what it will be? Q by 6 epsilon naught. There is another question given. One thing very important, the charge does not, Gauss's theorem, when you're calculating a flux, that doesn't depends upon the orientation or the position of the charge. Wherever you keep at the corner of the room, you keep at the center, you keep anywhere else, it is not bothered, because it is only bothered about the 1 by epsilon 0 divided by the net charge. Net charge means total charge. They don't see the position. So wherever you keep the whatever be the charges, you calculate the entire charge and get the value. Suppose if you have taken a dipole. What is dipole? Two charges equal in magnitude, opposite in sign. So there we have got the total dipole, the total charge S plus Q minus Q 0. So what you get, the flux S equals to 0. So this is the charm of the Gauss's theorem. Next class we will be doing with the applications on the Gauss's theorem, and you will find that it's very interesting. If you are very good in the beginning, I told you do with the vectors. So do with the vectors, so you can understand better. Okay.